focused. Give it everything.
It's going to be so close.
This is very tight. We're going wheel to wheel.
I'm going for it.
Through goes Hamilton.
It's not over yet.
Max Verstappen, champion of the world.
Hello, everybody. Now it rains. Now. Where were you an hour ago? Where were you an hour ago? Is it going to get worse, Lee? Anyway, hello. Welcome to the Notebook for the 2023 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which didn't have any rain, which might have been enlivened somewhat by a little bit of rain shower at the end. It would have been enlivened somewhat by a rain shower at the end. Up to that point, one of the most interesting things about today's race had been the national anthem. So the Azeri flag, you can't see it because it's, oh yeah, there you go. Obviously is blue at the top, red in the middle with the crescent and the star, and then green at the bottom. And they did that very clever thing, I thought, with the singer in the middle and the people with the, you know, with the flappy sleeves at the top, and then it made the flag. Did you see that at the end? And there was a sort of Christmas themed Christmas advert, bum ba ba bum bum ba ba ba, singing of the Azeri national anthem, which I thought was great. And one of the other most exciting things about the Grand Prix was when the race mascot, who is the eagle, I don't know if he's called Eddie the Azeri Eagle, I'm going to call him, not his name, don't know what his name is, came into the main grandstand and was doing high fives with everybody and encouraging a Mexican wave, which was the right thing to encourage because, of course, we have had a Mexican winner here. We have had 2.5 times winner of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Sergio Perez, and congratulations to him. He's an ace, as much of an ace round here in race conditions as Charles Leclerc is in qualifying position. So he's won 2 Grand Prix and a sprint race. So I like the way that Checo said 2.5 Grand Prix. So yeah, take nothing away from Checo Perez. There was a bit of fortune, which we'll go through in a minute when we get down to Red Bull, but clearly he was on it and was not to be beaten today, this afternoon. Not in the sprint race yesterday, nor today. Right, let's just update. If you didn't see what I was saying in the program, let's update you what happened with Esteban Ocon coming in late and personnel in the pit lane. So, photographers and FIA marshals were, so first of all, FIA marshals, I could see all this happening. First of all, FIA marshals came into the pit lane and started putting up barriers. So nobody had told them that Esteban Ocon was still to make a pit stop. And then the security, F1 and the FIA, let photographers in to the pit lane. So it's not the photographer's fault or the TV crews. They were let in to the pit lane. Now, all right, you could argue that, okay, did none of them know that what the rest of us knew, that Esteban Ocon was still to make a pit stop, and they might have thought by themselves, all right, lads, we might, and lasses, we might as well, let's wait a bit, because I think Esteban Ocon, it's a lack of communication, really, might have to still make a pit stop. But it's not the photographer and TV's fault. They were let in by the FIA and F1. So that's what the investigation is going on. So they all sort of started to come in here, while Esteban Ocon was, of course, barreling down the pit lane entry here. And I don't think Ocon had to, as far as I know, I don't think he had to pit, but he was to slow down or anything. But he wasn't warned. So Ocon said apparently in his interview with us that he was not warned by his team that there were potentially personnel in the pit lane and that he should look out for it. But yeah, so investigations are going on, exactly what happened and the process of what happened and how we can make sure that doesn't happen again. Because clearly there was a lack of communication because, you know, security did let the photographers in. It wasn't their fault that they were told to go in. So they will investigate that. And that is pretty much the... well, one of the exciting things that happened at the end, but it was a race that had completely under control by Red Bull Racing, and it's a win for Sergio Perez, as I said. Everyone's packing up, so we'll do a little bit of that. So, but as soon as the big heavy forklift trucks start coming into the pit lane, we will leave the guys to it, and we will get out of their way. And the poor safety car, only used once today. Now it starts to get rained on, but yeah, we had one rain shower. I will make a comment about what happened on the grid with the extra 10 minutes. So this is in order for more grid activation, as they call it, to happen at future events. So here, it didn't actually have anything. So we had an extra 10 minutes because the pit lane opened at 10 past rather than 20 past. And then everyone sat on the grid for an extra 10 minutes thinking, well, what's all this about? But I believe when we get to Miami, that'll be very different. And watch out for a grid spectacular at the Miami Grand Prix next time. That's what the extra 10 minutes will be used for. Right, Max Verstappen was second today. Sergio Perez was first today. And does it look like we're going to have some kind of photo in the rain? Are we going to have a photo in the rain? Photo in the rain? Photo in the rain. Deciding on positioning. Well, everyone's packing up really quickly for Miami, Alice. So I'm just wondering whether, I was thinking to myself I might lead them to it, but it's a very tight paddock. You could do it by where we have the sky pad if you want, out the back.
We were actually, that was one of Tomo's ideas. So currently Tomo and I...
You're not leaving it to Tomo, are you?
Yes, Tomo is in charge, which is worrying.
Yeah. Mark Thompson over there. Well, he looks like he's settled on out here, but I would recommend that he doesn't do it. Thank you, Alice. So yeah, we're looking for Team Checo are out here waiting for congratulations. Congratulations. Excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. Who was the people who Checo spoke about on the radio afterwards?
I didn't know because I didn't have the headphones. So oh, you're for the next one.
He said, hang on, I wrote it down. Thibaut and his wife. Never mind. It'll be a mystery. We'll find out in Miami. Thank you. An okay start for both. Max didn't need more than 4 laps to go to P1 past Charles Leclerc, but then came the odd call. I'm going to call it the odd call for Max to pit when they saw that Nick de Vries had stopped and a safety car was surely going to come out. I'm going to call it an odd call because they could have, if everybody had gone right and everything. At some moment, there could have been a button on that de-rigged now pit wall to say, stay out, stay out. Didn't want to do it, maybe because they thought that it wasn't going to be. They didn't know. Listen, it was a very close thing. They probably had, once they do the analysis, and we'll report back on this in Miami, I reckon they probably would have had about, less than 10 seconds to tell Max to stay out. And maybe the decision time would have been 6 seconds, something like that. Stay out. That's all I need to know. And then they can't be guaranteed that Max is going to be like, whoa, hang on, I'm already in the pit lane, I've got to stay out. But had that happened and Max stayed out, Max Verstappen would have won this Grand Prix. All right, we don't know what would have happened with the rest of history and the way things shaken out. And Sergio Perez had the pace today. That's the crucial thing about it. Max and Sergio were so tightly matched today that even when Checo went out, Max couldn't catch him, couldn't close. So arguably, hey, listen, had he stayed out and then Checo done another thing and they were not stacked or whatever, maybe Checo would have passed him in the pits. We don't know. They was very, very close. But Max could have stayed out, and that might have given him a better chance to win the Grand Prix. All right, that's that closed up. Very close pace. But I thought the Sergio Perez radio message, apart from talking about paying homage to saying hello to Thibaut and his wife, was interesting when he said, look, guys, we are still in the fight. And it felt like Sergio Perez was talking to his engineer and his mechanics only, and not the rest of the team. He was saying, we are still in the fight. We can't have issues like we did in Melbourne, of course, where Checo had a nightmare and didn't score. And we can't have issues like we had in Melbourne, and we still can get this championship. With the subtext of what you're saying is still in the championship. They can, of course. Only 6 points now, the difference between Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. But then you've got on the pit wall Christian Horner with what sounded like reassuring radio message to Max Verstappen, saying, okay, never mind, Max. Checo got lucky with a safety car, but it's a long, long season. And that, to my ears, and to anyone reasonable, sounds like Christian Horner saying to Max, look, don't worry about it. You're still our man for the championship. Checo, of course, is thinking, well, hang on, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to be the man for the championship. And it could happen. It absolutely could happen. So that's something to look forward to. What's going on here? Oh, I see. Right, we can't have the sponsor that's not the sponsor in the sponsor's pictures. All right, we'll leave them to it, Lee. We'll leave them to it. Leave them to it. Less details about sponsor banner removal, the better. Apparently, they are allowed to go onto the pit wall. So there was not an investigation needed or will happen. As long as the mechanics, they're not allowed to climb the fence, but as long as they have a foot, so say Christian Horner, on that bit of concrete, then the mechanics can be on the pit wall. And I double-checked that with the FIA and with other teams. That's what they believe the rules to be. It's a long season, said Max Verstappen. Sorry, the team said it's a long season. Max said we couldn't know that the safety car would come out then. But that's true. I mean, they didn't know that De Vries was going to happen, but we learnt a lot. Yes, we certainly did. Right, Ferrari, let's do them. And hooray, they finally get their podium. After their non-podium yesterday, Ferrari properly get a first podium of the season because Charles Leclerc was third today in what he said was a lonely race. A good start for Charles Leclerc and on the restart. Retained the lead, but only till lap 4 when Max Verstappen became P1. Benefited under the safety car, but couldn't hold that P1 for long. Was easily passed by Checo Perez. Checo Perez got the lead. Leclerc was second, but he was easily passed again by Max Verstappen. And it was a lonely race from then on, but Fernando Alonso closed up on Charles Leclerc, and he only finished 8/10 of a second in front of Fernando Alonso, did Charles Leclerc. But clearly Leclerc had backed off because when Alonso was attacking, Leclerc was able to manage that attack and actually react to it on the lap times. As for the curious case of Carlos Sainz in Baku, he lost P4. It was a difficult weekend for him, bad weekend for Carlos Sainz. He lost P4 crucially to Fernando Alonso at safety car restart, which Fred Vasseur, when I spoke to him, was a bit disappointed about, and just said that was all I could do. The level of the car was all I could do this weekend with Carlos Sainz. I don't know whether he thinks there's something wrong with the car, but he wants the investigation to go on. But it helps Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. Obviously, Red Bull are first in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. Aston Martin are second, and that podium helps Ferrari close up a little bit to the Aston Martins in P2. Right, let's do Mercedes. Lee, let's get out of here because everybody is packing up to Miami. So let's find the safest place we can and get out of the pit lane. Now, the safest place we can is actually along the pit wall at the moment because we're away from all these forklifts, and let the lads get on with it. Of course, Miami, only a few days away. It's a 14-hour flight to Miami, and you've got to get all this loaded up onto some planes and get out of here. So here we go. There's a gap. That's good. We can actually get out of the way of these lads. Well, I'll tell you about what happened to Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton P6 today, George Russell P8 and fastest lap. And Lewis Hamilton pitted on lap 10, rather disastrously for him, because then the safety car came out and George Russell jumped him. Then George passed Lance in the safety car pits, but then got a bad start and went down to P8 and pretty much stayed P8, but with fastest lap did George Russell. Lewis Hamilton was in the DRS train, chased Carlos Sainz and finished 0.6 of a second behind him. So it was very, very tight with... are you right there, Lee? You okay? Link all right? Yeah? Good, well done. And it was very, very tight with Lewis Hamilton P6 and Carlos Sainz just ahead of him, but only by 0.6 of a second at the end. Alpine, and a depressing end to a bad weekend. Ocon was 15th today, Gasly 14th. Gasly started on the medium tyre, but pitted on lap 6 with bad graining onto the hard, and then pitted again on lap 26 and trolled home 1.6 seconds behind Kevin Magnussen. Ocon starting from the pits on the hard tyre. On the hard tyre, the safety car wasn't good for him, but at least he stayed out and got track position. Stayed there, was holding up Nico Hülkenberg and Lando Norris. Was looking for a red flag or a safety car, didn't get it. Pitted on the last lap, wasn't warned about the people in the pit lane, and all that he could do to finish P15. But he did jump not only Nico Hülkenberg, but also he was head of anyway, but he jumped Logan Sargent by waiting until that last lap. Had he actually pitted a bit earlier, then he would have been behind Logan Sargent. So it's the right thing to do strategically for Alpine. So they're pretty sharp still on the strategy, but it's the end of a miserable weekend for Alpine with crashes, with fires, with non-performance of the cars. There is Esteban Ocon just coming down, and that body language says it all, because I think they can only look forward to Miami, because it's been a pretty shocking weekend. Pretty shocking was the way that Lando Norris described his weekend. See you in Miami, Este. Hope for better there, mate. Pretty shocking was how Lando Norris described his weekend. Lando Norris 9th, Oscar Piastri 11th, and Oscar finished 2 seconds behind Yuki Tsunoda, who got the last point today. So yeah, good lap 1 for Lando up to P8. Oscar Piastri pitted on lap 9, a bit of a slow stop. Lando pitted 2, and that means that both of them pitted before the safety car came out for Nick de Vries, and that ruined their race. After that, Lando was stuck behind Nico Hülkenberg, got past eventually, and got 2 points. So well done for him. But I thought that was, I'm pretty sure in his interview, he said our performance was pretty shocking, even with the 0.2 of a second they've added with the new parts. So maybe he was just saying it in a, oh, it's pretty shocking, not literally pretty shocking, because it's not. It's been a better weekend for McLaren, and they've got 2 points from it. Maybe they could have got more, but Oscar Piastri's been very ill this weekend. On his thanking the team, I thought it was like that Ron Atkinson sketch at the wedding when he thanks the caterers. He said, and I'd like, Oscar Piastri said, yeah, sorry guys, the mechanics, I didn't see you much this weekend, but I'd like to thank the doctor. So yeah, it's I can understand that, because Oscar got some food poisoning and has been very bad and has only managed to eat, I think, in total over the weekend, as far as food goes, 4 pieces of dried toast and no butter or Marmite or Vegemite if you're Oscar Piastri. So we wish Oscar Piastri better as he flushes all of that out of his system, if it hasn't done already, and he'll be better and healthy in Miami, where we go to next. Miami, the showbiz capital Miami, where we might have some more people from the Brad Pitt movie, where McLaren have been paying host to the some more people, some location scouts for the Brad Pitt movie, who have been here this weekend, checking out Baku as a location. And on that intriguing thought, we'll take a break. More Notebook in a bit. Hiya, welcome back to the Race Notebook for the 2023 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's just about easing up over Government House here in Baku, so hopefully it'll not be too wet for the pack up here, which combines air freight and sea freight, and this is some of the sea freight. And if you want to know how the rotation goes, it's quite interesting. So this sea freight number 4, they'll have about 4 or 5 sets of sea freight, and that will go, it'll start in Switzerland. So it would have gone that at the beginning of the season. It would have been sea freighted to here, Azerbaijan. It will then get on a boat and actually go to Doha, Qatar. That's the next race all of this stuff will be used at, which is in what, October? And then it'll go to Abu Dhabi, from Qatar to Abu Dhabi. So that's probably by road, and then back to Switzerland. Isn't that interesting? So it's that sea freight set 4. So set 1 would probably have done Bahrain, and then we'll go to Canada, and set 2 would have done Saudi, and then gone to somewhere else, and set 3 would have done Australia, and then gone to somewhere else. See what I mean? They go around. Interesting. Right, a bit more interesting than Alfa Romeo Sauber's day today, because Valtteri Bottas, I mean, it's horrible. They just had no grip in the car. Tyres were all over the place. And Valtteri Bottas was 18th. Zhou Guanyu was a DNF. Valtteri Bottas lost out in turn 1. He was hit by 2 people, Pierre Gasly and by Kevin Magnussen, and damaged the back of his car. And squeezed out down to P18, poor Valtteri. Zhou Guanyu was P16 at the time. Valtteri Bottas pitted on lap 7 with no grip. Zhou Guanyu also struggled with no grip, and Zhou retired on lap 37 because some temperatures were going up in his car, the power unit, and they oh, there's Lance on the left-hand side, Lee. And they thought it was better. His car was going to DNF anyway. He wasn't in the pits, so he was pulled in and retired the car. Valtteri Bottas 3 stopped and looking for some tyre that would work today, and finished last. But yeah, after being hit twice, maybe they will find there is diffuser damage at the end, at the back of his car. Aston Martin, great day today, and Fernando Alonso said it best: when you have your weekend is beset by DRS problems and you end up only 0.8 of a second off a podium, then that's not bad. And Mike Crank might consider that it's the end of the podium run, and it is the end of the podium run, but bearing in mind they had this race-long, weekend-long problems with their DRS, then it means that actually to do that and to finish 4th and 7th is a good recovery and gives them good optimism for the future. Lance was up 2 places at the start from P8 to from P9 to P7. Also Alonso up to P6 at the start. Alonso passed Sainz brilliantly on the safety car restart for P4 and then secured P4. With 14 laps to go, Fernando came on the radio, said to Ben, his engineer, how many laps to go? And the engineer said 14. Alonso, of course, car number 14, said, good number, now we go. And then chased down Charles Leclerc, and in the end got to within 8/10 of a second of him. Lance Stroll had a, as I say, great opening lap, and at the end, yeah, Fernando got to 8/10 behind Leclerc, just needed one more lap, and Lance Stroll got caught in the Hamilton DRS train, all of that with Sainz. Just couldn't get, you're right, Chief, yeah, ski partner, you just couldn't get Lewis at the end there. Not bad. How are you? Oh, careful of the wrists. Couldn't get Lewis at the end.
No, I couldn't. He was better. Well, yeah, he was a bit. Then I made that mistake in 16, which cost us a bit of time. He got us there, but we'll get him next week.
Well, Fernando said, yeah, Lance, when you have a weekend as beset as it problems with the problems with the DRS, to finish 8/10 of a second off another podium, it shows that there's good stuff. All right, thanks a lot. By the way, there's the long version of the Revelstoke Lance Let's get to know Lance Stroll immediately after the Notebook, so stay tuned for that. Right, we've done Aston Martin. One more lap, and arguably Alonso might have got him. Oh, there is Fernando. So yeah, maybe he would have got, given that he was only 8/10 behind, he might have got the podium with one more lap. Right, Hulkenberg, Haas, 17th. Magnussen, 13th. Great start from Magnussen up to P13, but damaged the front wing and got understeer. He raced to... Oh, there he goes. Oh, that's quick. He raced Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly to the end, but couldn't do more than 13th. Magnussen and Hulkenberg from the pits on the hard tyre after they changed the setup to make it easier on the rear tyres with the tyre wear and the graining. Did you get a good photo? Good. Actually, gained track position under the safety car like Esteban Ocon did, and had better tyre setup, better pace, was goal hanging for a safety car, didn't get it, pitted and finished 17th and second last. So bad luck. AlphaTauri, oh, Nick De Vries, you really need a break. Season's not going well for Nick De Vries in his F1 rookie complete season. And hard start, clipped the barrier and broke the suspension and out at the end of a horrible weekend. Yuki Tsunoda was himself done over by the safety car, but recovered very well, dropped behind Lando Norris and stayed there with the train and everything behind Ocon and Hulkenberg, but got P10 when Ocon pit. Good one, he said on the radio, the best they could have hoped for. So yeah, AlphaTauri go away from this weekend with at least a point, which is good going for them considering the problems that they have had this year. Who have you found? Logan? You have found Logan. And finally, we got Williams today. Alex Albon 12th, Logan Sargent 16th. Alex Albon responded to the pit stops around him around lap 8, but of course that was before the safety car. Logan ran well on P13. Both ran the hard tyre to the end, lost out on the safety car, of course, but did 43 laps and 44 laps respectively, and kept the grip going, and Alex Albon not too far off the points for P12, but Logan had a bit of a character-building weekend, I think it's fair to say, talking to Jack Doohan over there, and got done by Esteban Ocon when Ocon pitted for the last time. I will just give a Miami hype up. We're all hyped for Miami, home race for Logan Sargent at the end, so can't wait. No, it's all right. He doesn't want to respond. That's fine. That's cool. I'm not just going to leave me hanging there. Leave me hanging there, Chief. No. I just wanted to woo, or woo Miami.
Yeah, we're going to be good. We're
okay, good.
Energy, motivation. We're going to be there, ready to go.
Can't wait. Next week is Miami, and that's good. What better totally awkward promo could you want for Miami? Next, I should say, next is the extended version of the Lance Stroll feature, with lots of good stuff about bears and longer answers around the campsite that didn't make it into the shortened edit, so stay tuned for that. And in a week's time, we are going, as I said, to that man's hometown, Miami, Florida, USA, for the Miami Grand Prix. So that's it from now from the whole team here. Thank you very much for watching. The rain continues down, and we'll see you in a few days' time for Free Practice 1 on Friday, ahead of the Miami Grand Prix on the Sunday. Oh, look, there's James Allison. Bye, James. Right, do you want to say goodbye?
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Sky Sports F1. Feel it all.